Hello everyone. I wanted to come on here just to kind of talk because I think it would be cathartic for me, and it will potentially be cathartic for people watching this if they can relate to the experience that I'm about to talk about. I am a big believer in trying to turn whatever experience, negative or positive, into something that I can learn from, and hopefully if this experience can help other people, then that's great, and that's kind of what I want from this. So that's your context as to why I'm kind of speaking at you. So at the beginning of August, Ashley and I found out that we were pregnant, which we were really excited about. We were 6 weeks, and we were just really excited to start this new chapter together, and couldn't quite believe that we were kind of about to embark on this really magical journey. Obviously, as soon as you find out you're pregnant, you've kind of got this really big secret in the front of your mind. It's literally like there in your mouth, and you just kind of want to blurt it out because you're really excited. You want to be able to tell everybody, but you kind of have this dark cloud looming over you, which is that, oh, you shouldn't tell anyone until you're 12 weeks. And that I really have a problem with, because those who say that and those who encourage that kind of mentality are sort of encouraging the prospect that your baby is going to die before you can get excited about it, or before you should get excited about it. And actually, that's not a helpful emotion to be feeling when you are pregnant, because it's such a long time that you're going to be pregnant. So to be thinking, oh, I just need to get to the 12-week point and then everything is going to be okay, is just incredibly naive, because that isn't the case. It is a lottery right to the very end, to the point of birth, and then beyond that, it is a lottery. So we kind of had this dilemma, as it were. Do we tell people, do we not? And at around just after 6 weeks, we made the decision to tell our very closest friends and family that we were expecting. However, shortly after, at the 8-week point, I began spotting, which for those of you who don't know is a very, very light bleed, which then the following day turned into a very heavy bleed. Not that of a period, different. And obviously alarm bells were ringing, and you immediately go to the miscarriage ward. I went to A&E the following day, still came out with a positive pregnancy test, but the GP wanted to refer me to the early pregnancy unit. So I managed to get my appointment 2 days after that. So at that point, it's sort of 4 or 5 days of waiting of whether we've miscarried or not. And I went into the early pregnancy unit, which was an experience in itself, let me tell you. You basically walk through the ward and you're walking past all these lovely pregnant women and their partners who were perhaps at the 20-week and beyond mark, all about to, embark on this amazing journey. And then you, who are going through a potential miscarriage, are ushered into a teeny tiny room full of other women who are equally as scared as you are. And can I also mention as well, we're all wearing masks. So we are literally like this, and we all look petrified, because we're all going through the same thing and no one is talking to each other. And that was quite a struggle in itself, that we all knew that we were just going through the same experience together, and we were all just silently going through it on our own, because as well, being the pandemic, our partners are forced to wait in the car park. So you can imagine as well, you've got all these husbands and partners just all waiting in their cars on their own, just waiting whilst their partners are inside waiting for their appointment. So that was a little bit traumatic in itself anyway. So I'm there at the EPU, I wait 2 hours, then I get to go in for our ultrasound, which luckily Ashley was able to join me for. Had to be a vaginal scan because it was before the 12-week point, so it was too early to be able to do a sort of more traditional ultrasound. And yeah, I remember she started the ultrasound at 1 o'clock, and at 8 minutes past 1, she still hadn't said anything. And then probably about 30 seconds after that, she just sort of stopped and said, "Florence, I can't see your baby." Which was really hard. You know, you kind of already know the answer. I already felt my pregnancy symptoms had sort of stopped, but just hearing those words were hard, really hard. So straight after that, we were ushered into the miscarriage room, where it was all really jolly music. Just remember Ollie Murs playing on the radio, and there were lots of flyers. You know, is it ectopic? Is it a miscarriage? You know, which one's for you, kind of thing. And there's a little book in the corner from all the mums who wanted their babies and had written messages to their unborn babies. So it was just, quite an experience. And then what I didn't really know about was, when you miscarry, it's not over in a day. The bleeding that I told you about continues for several weeks, and the positive pregnancy tests continue for several weeks. And the only way that you can actually determine when you have officially miscarried, even though it is on, you know, that particular day of the mass bleeding, which was 4 or 5 days earlier, to determine the actual end of the miscarriage, you have to continue to take pregnancy tests and hope that your pregnancy tests are going to come out negative. So then all of a sudden your whole mindset is just flipped. It's flipped into, right, I'm really wanting a negative, when 2 months earlier all we were wanting is a positive. So it's really messed up. And with that, you're doing it on your own. And as you know, Ashley was amazing. My husband was absolutely incredible. But you're on your own. It's like a secret society, because nobody talks about it. Because there is this negative stigma that you shouldn't talk about it. But by not talking about it, nobody knows actually what a miscarriage is. So I really wish that was sort of the end of the story. However, you are super fertile post miscarriage, and 2 weeks after my official end of the miscarriage, where I had my negative pregnancy test, I fell pregnant 2 weeks later, which after a lot of research is very, very possible because you are super fertile. So I kind of thought, wow, okay, we've got a second chance, and maybe that first one was just preparing. But sadly, 2 weeks later, the same symptoms happened, and I began spotting again, which turned into an official bleed. And actually this time round, because I am still going through this second miscarriage, it's worse, both physically and mentally. And you just don't really have anyone. And I think as well, because, you know, everywhere you look, there are people getting pregnant or, you know, with their children. And so it just kind of magnifies everything, and it just makes you feel really alone and sort of out of control, both from a mental health and a physical health perspective, because your body has turned against you. Your body is saying that you're pregnant when you're not pregnant, and has failed to do the job that you most desperately wanted it to do. And for me, twice, with 2 consecutive miscarriages. But I guess my takeaway from this is, okay, we fell pregnant, you know, quickly the second time. I'm now going to give myself a rest and just kind of let my body get back on track, and when we are ready, we'll try again. But it's just the loneliness. It's just the loneliness. Because no one wants to talk about it. And no one knows what to say. But sometimes actually just saying, I don't know what to say, is enough. Because talking about it is just what grief is, and, you know, we're grieving. And, you know, this happens. Unfortunately, it happens. It's 1 in 4. 1 in 4 women this happens to. But that's annoying as well, because it's 1 in 4 women. It's not like, it just kind of singles out the woman. There's just all this negativity around what should be an exciting time, but it's been quite eye-opening. Just all this anxiety that comes with what should be a really exciting time. And what's worse is when I was pregnant the first time round, it was exciting. And I was really enjoying, as much as it was a bit like up and down, I was enjoying those pregnancy symptoms. But the second time round, for the short period of time of, you know, the 2 or 3 weeks that it was, I was anxious. I was suffering with real anxiety. And so it's going to be really hard to think what it's going to be like next time, because all I'm going to be thinking is, okay, I need to get to that 12-week milestone. And then what happens after that? Because again, you know, anything can happen. Anyway, I just wanted to say to anyone who has gone through this that you are not alone. Just, if you need to talk about it, then talk about it. And actually, you might find that the people who you try and talk to have gone through it themselves, because as I said before, it is a secret society. People don't talk about it. But if you're watching this and you relate and you would like someone to talk to, I'm here. And would be happy to talk about it. Happy to talk about anything. And to the, you know, to the partners of the women who are miscarrying as well, like, you're doing amazing. But don't be afraid for you to talk about it with your partners or with your friends, like whatever's easiest. I know it's hard because, you know, the partners are removed because it's not their body. But hopefully it will get better, and hopefully we'll have our chance. I hope. So yeah, the week of the 9th, it's Baby Loss Awareness Week. So if you are wanting to do anything, if you're watching this and thinking, oh my goodness, I don't really know what to say, but I would like to help or contribute in some way, where is that? You can buy these baby loss awareness badges from Miscarriage Association, and that will help go towards funding to support women who are miscarrying, and obviously support the science behind it. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. I hope this wasn't too triggering for anybody. And as I said, I am here if you would like to chat. Okay. Thank you if you made it to the end.